This is Ryan and Josh with the Mosaic Real Estate team, and we're here for another Pieces of Western New York.
Today we are on a beautiful west side of Buffalo. It's a gorgeous spring day, and we're in this neighborhood that we call 5 Points. So there's 5 roads that converge here, and this whole neighborhood has reinvented itself over the past couple decades, and it's full of like so many great places to go, places to eat, places to buy wine, coffee shops, bakeries, and it's really become like a hip gathering spot and a big anchor for this whole community. And it's been amazing to see the transformation. And today we're going to go meet with one of the shop owners at Paradise Wine and learn a little bit about wine. Come join us.
Come on in.
Hey, so now we're inside with owner and curator Paula Paradise. Paula, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Ryan, Josh,
We're
good
glad to be
see you.
here. We're big fans of your shop.
Excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to be here too.
And we're here regularly, as you know.
Yeah, we just had our 10-year anniversary, so it's been quite a labor of love putting the shop together. You mentioned when you came in some of the features we have in the shop. Everything was handmade as far as our storage system for the wines. We have some innovative ideas for wine storage. So one of the problems with storing fat bottled sparkling wine is they get scraped on many of these wine racks that are metal. So we made this wine wall, all sparkling wine, from PVC piping and cut it. So you can fit any size champagne bottle and it won't scratch the label.
I didn't realize that's why you did this.
So that's really nice. And then Sarah Fonzie, local artist, metalwork artist, did our racks over here and throughout the store and welded them all together. And then we had a carpenter we've been working with from Amish country who did these big wooden racks. So it was, and it was all, the store was designed by a local architect, J.M. Reed. So in my experience selling wine, both retail and wholesale, the wines of the highest quality and the most interest were ones that were produced at low production wines. It's just like food. Once you get into mass production, the quality goes down. But also these wines were made by family wineries that often lived in the vineyards and were farming organically. And Lauren and I are big proponents of sort of the slow food movement back in the 90s, and then eventually organic farming, biodynamic farming. So we decided to make a shop of it. So everything in our shop, wine-wise, is farmed sustainably, organic, or biodynamic. So, you know, the other day, you mentioned you like this wine.
I do, because you recommended it.
And the other day, Mel and I were tasting a wine. We said, oh, this is a Ryan wine. So we're always thinking about...
We've had friends for our wedding give us gifts and say, well, we walked in and talked to Paula, and she said, this is what you and Kelly are drinking right now.
That's what we try to do. We really try to find out what people enjoy and then explore the world with them and maybe stretch their palates a little if they're adventurous. If they're not, then we try to find, you know, that safe spot, that delicious spot that they want to return to. So that was kind of the concept of the shop, keeping it small, sourcing from small production wineries all over the world. We have French, Spanish, Italian, Slovenia, everywhere, New York, and keeping it organic. So I think the other thing really is important to us is being a small business. We never wanted to be a chain or a corporation. We never wanted to grow into a mega superstore. The reason for that is our hearts are really aligned with what small businesses bring to a community. It's how we want to live. We want to walk to stores and restaurants in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, there's Small Business Week, and there's always promotions for helping small businesses, support small businesses. But if you turn that around for a second to think, what do small businesses do for us as human beings? Is we provide connection and community.
Absolutely.
If all you had were strip malls to do your shopping, think of how soulless that would be. We have people come in here that are shopping, and all of a sudden another person will walk in, they'll turn around. It's someone they haven't seen in 7 years.
Right.
And they're hugging and
Yeah.
talking for 20 minutes
Yeah.
and catching up. It brings people together.
Yeah.
That makes
And Lauren and I are really like, we like neighborhood. We live in the neighborhood.
Also, say it. And well, so speaking, I mean, how did you pick the 5 Points neighborhood? I know both of you, like you said, have been city residents for as long as I've known you.
Well, it was partly practical, but it was also a feel. I have to thank Melissa and Kevin, who owned 5 Points Bakery, because they had their first shop was adjacent to Urban Roots, which was the first major business in 5 Points. I mean, you have always had Left Bank and Essex Pub down by Richmond on Rhode Island, but Urban Roots really established, you know, this garden center. And then 5 Points Bakery was in the same building for a few years. And we used to go there, and I would sit there and say, Lauren, I love the vibe of this place. The sun, it seems to be up on a hill. The sun is shining. There's a special energy here.
I agree.
So,
Oh yeah, winery is essential.
and that too. But I have to say, at some point in my career, I left the books. I did an article for some time for an old arts publication in Buffalo called Art Voice.
I remember.
For about a year, I was a wine writer for them.
Yeah, I do remember that. Okay.
So what I want to say, though, is after I felt like I had kind of learned enough about how wines are trellised and the fermentation process, it really went back to, for me, customer service and taste. And that's more my spiel than anything. I love reading about the background of the wineries and conveying that information if it's pertinent or interesting. But really, to me, it's about taste. My background is in the kitchen. So as a chef, as a pastry chef, it's primarily what I did in Buffalo as a pastry chef.
How we met.
For many years, right? So I am really about how things taste and turning people on to something that they're going to really enjoy. Like that gives me a lot of pleasure to do that. It's a lot of when someone comes back, it's so satisfying to hear, oh my God, that wine was fantastic with our meal. Yeah. You know, so it's another condiment on the table for dining. It's one way to look at it.
Well, that seems like the perfect segue to do some tasting.
All right, let's see what we got. So this is Flaneur Chardonnay from Willamette Valley in Oregon. And Mel is going to tell us a little bit about it. But first thing we do, you want to lead them through how we assess?
Sure. So wine loves oxygen. It doesn't see any of it until after you open the bottle from when it goes into the bottle. So to release all of the phenolics and all of the beautiful sensory elements, you give it a little air, swirling it, which I know people love to make fun of. And it is a little bit cheesy, but it is
I feel like we know what we're doing.
also for a reason. Give a little waft, see what the aromatics are doing.
Okay.
And then,
Enticing.
yeah.
It smells great.
Doesn't it smell great?
You know, it kind of like wets the palate a little bit. You smell wine, it should make you want to drink it.
So I'm getting a little oak.
Looking at how the wine kind of falls down the sides of the glass, I think they still call that legs. I don't know if that's still a term of endearment or not, but it gives you an idea of the weight, essentially, and how viscous or how heavy that should be when it goes to your palate. And then the best part is tasting. I would say at the very last hour to hour and a half of any day in our shop is customers walking in telling us what they're having for dinner.
Right.
And so that is a big part of our evening and afternoon is helping people pick out what's going to go on their table. So us being able to taste every single wine that comes in here and then getting to know our customers and their palates and their cooking habits, it becomes a fun open dialogue of what they're willing to explore, what they're going to cook, what they're going to drink with it. And it becomes, you know, a
Cheers
that's-
to that.
Cheers.
So we've had so much fun hanging in 5 Points. It's been delicious on a beautiful day.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Pieces of Western New York.
Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.